Think you could survive Squid Game? Your heart, brain, and immune system might already be playing and losing. In the next 60 seconds, you'll learn how extreme stress, just like in Squid Game, can silently destroy your health. Let's face it, stress doesn't knock politely. It barges in like a reality show contestant who's been locked in a room with no sleep, no food, and just enough energy to argue with strangers. Sound familiar? But here's the kicker: stress symptoms may be affecting your health, even if you're not aware of it. That lingering headache? Your stubborn insomnia? That feeling of walking into a room and forgetting why you're there? Nope, it's not just a you thing. It could be chronic stress waving a red flag. Let's break it down. Cortisol and stress. What's the deal? So cortisol, it's not your evil twin. It's your body's built-in survival juice. People call it the stress hormone, but it's more like the overcaffeinated intern who tries to fix everything and ends up flipping all the switches at once. When your brain senses danger, say, a wild animal or your boss saying, "Can we talk?" your body launches into fight or flight mode. This is your body's alarm system going, "Abandon ship." Cortisol floods in. Your heart races. Your muscles tighten. Your immune system, yeah, it goes on a coffee break. And that's fine for a real emergency. But when stress becomes your roommate instead of an occasional visitor, that's when the damage begins. Chronic stress dangers. It's not just in your head. High cortisol sounds like the name of a grunge band, but trust us, it's not that cool. Let's talk real-life stress effects. Stress and heart health? Constant cortisol equals higher blood pressure equals heart saying, "I didn't sign up for this." Stress and immunity? Your immune system gets so sluggish it might as well be on airplane mode. Stress and mental clarity? Hello, brain fog. Goodbye, productivity. Cortisol and heart disease? Yep, it's a link as solid as your Wi-Fi dropping during a Zoom call. Stress hormone damage. More than just mood swings. Think stress is just about snapping at your cat or overthinking texts. Nope. Long-term exposure to cortisol can lead to insomnia, anxiety, depression, weight gain, especially belly fat, weakened bones. And yes, foggy thinking that makes you forget your own birthday. It's like your body's internal systems are trying to run a marathon in clown shoes. So, what is cortisol, anyway? Cortisol is like that super organized friend who means well, but stresses everyone out in the process. Technically, it's a steroid hormone made in the cortex of your adrenal glands, aka the tiny glands on top of your kidneys, not a sci-fi villain hideout. It's lovingly known as the stress hormone. Not because it throws tantrums, but because it shows up every time your body freaks out. Here's why cortisol gets a front row seat to your life drama. Nearly every cell in your body has a receptor for cortisol, meaning this hormone doesn't just stay in its lane. It swerves into every organ system. Cortisol's greatest hits, aka what it actually does. When cortisol's not overreacting to your deadlines or social anxiety, it's pulling serious weight. Here's what it's up to. Regulates your stress response, basically your internal air traffic controller. Manages how your body burns fat, carbs, and protein, your metabolism's middle manager. Suppresses inflammation, so your immune system doesn't throw a parade every time you sneeze. Keeps your blood pressure from getting ideas above its station. Delivers extra glucose to your brain in emergencies. You're gonna need this if we panic. Balances blood sugar by boosting glucagon and lowering insulin. Helps run your sleep-wake cycle because even hormones love a bedtime routine. Fun fact, cortisol has its own schedule. It rises like a grumpy commuter in the morning, then gradually chills out by bedtime, unless stress decides to throw an all-night rave. But wait, what happens when stress takes over? Now, here's where cortisol switches from helpful to high maintenance. When life throws a curveball or several, your sympathetic nervous system goes into full action hero mode. Your amygdala, the part of your brain that screams, "Red alert," fires off signals to the hypothalamus, which flips the switch on your HPA axis. That's the hypothalamic pituitary adrenal system for your next trivia night. And bam, your adrenal glands flood your bloodstream with cortisol, because apparently that's the solution to spilled coffee or existential dread. A 2018 study found that extreme stress can cause a 9-fold spike in cortisol. That's like your stress hormone chugging 9 energy drinks just because someone cut you off in traffic. Stress and your heart, a love-hate relationship. Let's talk heart to heart. Stress isn't just an emotional mood swing. It's your body's overreaction to life's chaos. And while a little stress can help you meet deadlines or survive family dinners, chronic stress is like inviting a wrecking ball into your cardiovascular system. Stress is normal, but your heart doesn't think so. Stress comes in many flavors. Physical, like pulling an all-nighter, catching the flu, or attempting a home workout with zero coordination. Emotional, worrying about money, loss, or whether your cat secretly resents you. And yes, even the everyday grind, emails, traffic, and group chats you can't escape, can pile up like unpaid parking tickets. Normally, stress activates your fight or flight system, giving you a temporary boost to handle whatever's coming. But when stress is always on, that boost becomes a biological beatdown. The cortisol connection, your heart's frenemy. When you're stressed, your body releases cortisol to help you cope. It's kind of like your body's version of crisis management, except it doesn't know when to stop. Studies show that constantly high cortisol levels can raise your cholesterol, spike your blood pressure, increase blood sugar, and turn your bloodstream into a sticky situation, literally. All of these are top-tier risk factors for heart disease. Your arteries, they don't love the drama. Chronic stress can even lead to plaque buildup, narrowing arteries like a clogged sink with emotional baggage. Even small stressors pack a punch. You might think only big stress, like job loss or grief, can hurt your heart, but even minor stressors can cause reduced blood flow to the heart. Translation: your heart's running on low battery. Changes in blood clotting, making your blood more clingy than your ex. Higher risk of stroke because your body is in constant DEFCON 1 mode. And let's not forget the human side of stress. People under chronic stress often smoke more, drink more, eat worse, and exercise less. It's a real choose-your-own-adventure of bad decisions. So, what does stress look like IRL? If you're experiencing any of the following, your body might be whispering or yelling, "Hey, we're stressed." Random aches and pains, decreased energy and sleep quality, frequent anxiety, anger, or sadness, impatience that makes you yell at your toaster, memory lapses like, "Why did I come into this room again?" Sound familiar? Here's the good news. You can fight back. First things first, identify your stress triggers. Spoiler: it's probably not just traffic. Then try to shift how you respond mentally and physically. You don't need to become a Zen monk, but you do need to manage the madness. Try this stress-diffusing starter pack. Deep breathing, inhale confidence, exhale cortisol. Regular movement, yes, even walking counts. Healthy snacks, sorry. Ice cream doesn't qualify. Probably. Good sleep hygiene, put the phone down at night, we dare you. And yes, professional help if you need it, because therapy is just as valid as kale. How stress sneaks past your immune system like a ninja. Let's get one thing straight. Stress isn't always the villain. In fact, a little bit of stress, the kind that makes you double-check the stove or power through a deadline, can actually be helpful. That's acute stress, your body's built-in get-it-done mode. But here's where it flips the script. When cortisol becomes that guest who won't leave. When stress hits, your body responds by releasing cortisol, and in small doses, it's like your immune system's personal trainer. It reduces inflammation, sharpens your focus, and helps your immune system prepare for battle. But when the stress never stops, hello chronic stress, your body stops listening to cortisol like it's just background noise. And instead of reducing inflammation, cortisol gets ignored, inflammation skyrockets, and your immune system says, "I'm out." Chronic stress equals immune system burnout. Long-term stress doesn't just fray your nerves, it fries your immune defenses. One of the first things to drop off the map? Your lymphocytes. Those tiny white blood cells that help fight off viruses like cold sores, the flu, and the dreaded, "I think I'm coming down with something." Low lymphocyte count equals higher chance of getting sick. It's like taking your immune system's bouncer and giving him a 6-month vacation. The result? Your body starts catching colds like it's collecting souvenirs. And every bug going around seems to find you. Stress-induced sickness is a real thing, unfortunately. Ever noticed how you always get sick right after finals, big presentations, or family holidays? That's stress-induced sickness tapping you on the shoulder. Your immune system gets tired, really tired. And that constant inflammation, it builds up like unpaid rent. Add in a sprinkle of anxiety and depression, and you've got the recipe for a sluggish, overworked immune system that's barely hanging on. Stress makes you dumb. Let's talk brain fog. Ever walked into a room and forgotten why you were there? Thought you texted someone, only to find the message still sitting in drafts? Or stared at a menu for 20 minutes and still ordered the same thing? Yep, that's not just being tired. That's stress messing with your brain. Stress versus mental clarity. A losing battle. Here's the science why bit. Don't worry, we'll make it painless. When you're under chronic stress, your body keeps pumping out cortisol like it's trying to win a hormone contest. But instead of helping, cortisol starts to trash the place. Your hippocampus. The part of your brain that stores and retrieves memories? Yeah. Cortisol basically tells it, you're not needed here anymore, and starts shrinking it. And then there's the prefrontal cortex, the big boss of your brain in charge of decision-making, concentration, and logical thinking. Cortisol shows up like an uninvited guest and clogs it up with static. The real-life stress effects on your brain? Memory loss, where are my keys? Also, where am I? Brain fog. It's like trying to think through pudding. Difficulty focusing, wait, what were we talking about again? Terrible decisions, like texting your ex or eating an entire cake at midnight. When your brain is under stress, it's not optimizing for success. It's just trying to survive. Why this matters? And not just because you forgot your password again. Your brain is your control center. And if cortisol keeps hijacking it, you start living in a fog where every task feels 10x harder than it should. This isn't just annoying. It's psychological stress damage in action. And over time, it increases your risk for depression, anxiety, and even cognitive decline. Yes, your stress today can affect your brain tomorrow. How to defog your brain. Here's what your brain really wants. Consistency. Sleep, eat, and move on a regular schedule. Your brain thrives on routine. Silence. Just 10 minutes of quiet mindfulness can give your brain a power-up. Support, talk it out. Whether it's a friend, therapist, or your dog, let it out. Stress management. Because no productivity hack beats a relaxed, well-fed, well-rested brain. Surviving stress, your body will thank you. So, let's bring it all together before your brain fog kicks back in. Stress isn't just feeling overwhelmed. It's a full-body event, with long-term consequences if you don't manage it. Here's what we've uncovered. Cortisol, your so-called stress hormone, can be helpful in small doses, but when it's constantly flooding your system, it becomes a wrecking ball. Stress and heart health? Chronic stress raises your blood pressure, cholesterol, and increases your risk of plaque buildup, basically inviting heart disease over for dinner. Stress and immunity? Your white blood cells drop, your body gets inflamed, and your immune system becomes more of a suggestion than a defense force. Mental clarity? Forget it. Chronic stress shrinks your hippocampus, hijacks your focus, and serves you a daily dose of memory loss and brain fog. In short, stress messes with everything, from your heart to your hormones, your immune system to your ability to make basic decisions, like what to eat for lunch. But here's the hopeful part. You don't have to become a monk on a mountaintop to fight back. You just need to be aware, take action, and support your body before it starts throwing warning signs at you like confetti. So start small, prioritize sleep, move your body, manage your triggers, talk to someone, and seriously, give yourself a break. Your mind, your heart, your immune system, and your future self will thank you.